All right, let's dive right in. A really big change is coming down the pipeline for traditional Medicare, and it kicks off on January 1st, 2026. If your practice works with Medicare patients, you absolutely need to know about this. It's going to have a major impact on your day-to-day. So let's break down what's happening. So here's the big question, right? Is your practice ready for this shift? Because for a lot of common procedures, the days of just moving forward without a pre-authorization from traditional Medicare, well, those days are coming to an end. Getting ahead of this now is going to be the key to making this a smooth transition.
So, what is this new thing called anyway? It's called the WISER pilot. Let's unpack exactly what that acronym stands for, and more importantly, who it's going to affect.
Okay, so WISER stands for Wasteful and Inappropriate Service Reduction. It's a pilot program from CMS, and here's the bottom line. For a specific list of outpatient services, it's going to require prior authorization. You'll have to get the green light before you can perform them. Now, this is a really critical detail, and it's one that could easily trip people up. This new rule applies to all original Medicare beneficiaries in the pilot states. And yes, that includes patients who have Medigap plans. So a Plan G or a Plan N is not a workaround here. This prior authorization process is a new layer on top of their base Medicare coverage.
So, where is this all happening? Well, for now, the initial rollout is focused on 6 states. We're talking about Arizona, New Jersey, Ohio, Oklahoma, Texas, and Washington. If your practice or a good chunk of your patients are in any of these states, this program is going to directly impact you starting in 2026.
So what exactly are we talking about here? This pilot is targeting 17 specific services that CMS believes have a high chance of being overused or, potentially fraudulent. As you can see, this covers a pretty wide range of things, from neurostimulators and nerve procedures to really common pain management treatments like epidural steroid injections and even some spinal fusions. Plus, you've got other key services in there like certain knee procedures and skin substitutes. The takeaway is simple. For any of these 17 services, you've got to get that approval from Medicare before you proceed. Okay, so this obviously adds another administrative hoop to jump through. So why now? Why is CMS putting this in place? Let's take a look at the strategy behind this whole WSIR pilot. CMS really has 3 main goals here. First, and pretty straightforward, is to make sure procedures are actually medically necessary to stop any overuse. Second, they're looking to lower the overall cost of healthcare by cutting out wasteful spending. And third, they want to get ahead of fraud, by reviewing the paperwork before a payment is made instead of trying to chase it down and claw it back later. Now, to handle what's going to be a huge number of requests, CMS is planning to use AI and machine learning to help speed up the initial review process. But, and this is super important, the final call on medical necessity will always be made by a human reviewer. So you can rest assured that clinical judgment is still at the very center of the decision. Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get down to where the rubber meets the road. How is this actually going to feel in your practice day to day? How will it impact your team and, just as important, your patients? You can really see how this has 2 different but related impacts on your practice. For your clinicians, it means more documentation and, let's be honest, probably some scheduling delays while you wait for approvals. That could definitely create some bottlenecks. But for your revenue cycle team, it's a shift. It's more work up front, for sure, but the trade-off is huge. Fewer denials on the back end. The key is going to be building new workflows that can handle this without grinding everything to a halt. And what about the patient? Well, from their side, this could mean their care gets delayed, they might see more paperwork, and just longer wait times. But the biggest risk for them, by far, is the dreaded surprise bill. I mean, think about it. If a procedure gets done without that prior authorization and Medicare denies the claim, that patient could be on the hook for the entire cost. That's why clear communication is going to be absolutely everything. So that's the new reality. It's a big change, no doubt about it, but with a solid plan, it is totally manageable. So let's get practical. Let's walk through the steps you can start taking right now to get ready. Here it is, your 5-step action plan. Step 1, identify. Figure out which of these 17 procedures you actually perform. Step 2, train. Get everyone on the same page, from your schedulers to your doctors. Step 3, assign. You need someone, a person, or a team who owns this process. Step 4, integrate. Take a hard look at your technology and make sure your EHR is ready for this. And finally, step 5, update. you've got to revise your financial and consent forms to talk about this new risk of non-authorized services. Now, trying to tackle all of this on your own, that can feel like a lot, especially when you're already juggling patient care. The good news is, you don't have to start from scratch. There are experts out there who can help guide you through this. You know, teams like Business Integrity Services, this is what they do. They can help you design those new workflows, get your staff trained up, and make sure your whole revenue cycle is ready to go for 2026. If you think you might want some tailored support, checking out their website is a really good place to start. At the end of the day, the WISER pilot is a huge evolution for original Medicare, and the message couldn't be clearer. The time to get ready is right now. If you start taking these steps, you can get through this change without a hitch, protect your revenue, and, most importantly, keep providing that excellent, timely care your patients count on. So are you ready to get started?